What's he doing? Those are all gonna turn to hogs. The mini P.E.K.K.A destroys the other tower. This game is just too easy. Free wins left and right. Now, as you all know, there is a new game mode in Clash Royale called Hog Mania. And if you want to get free wins, I made this deck that I think is the best. If you don't know, all troops turn into the Mother Witch's hogs. So therefore, I've been getting unlimited victories with this. And I'll show you right now. Now, starting against our first opponent here, you can already see he has minions. Now, this is why I brought the poison, because it's like a fireball, but it has a much, much bigger radius. So any troop that they have, like the minions, or even the Firecracker, or as you can see, he has the witch that spawns a lot of units. You don't want those because they will all turn into the Mother Witch's hogs. So here I did end up making a pretty bad play because I tried to poison the Firecracker because that would put a Mother Witch hog right on the tower. But just as I poisoned, he did place those minions. Normally those would be very good because once I kill the minions, they would turn into Mother Witch hogs and give me a big advantage. But unfortunately, the Mega Knight was on my tower tanking for the minions. I had almost no elixir to stop it, and he immediately took a tower. But that's obviously no problem. I saw his deck, I saw his weaknesses, and I was able to capitalize on them. Look at this minion here coming in. You can see a perfect example of how it turns into a Mother Witch hog and sprints right to the tower. Now, he does place the balloon. I have the Electro Wizard to slow it down, and I actually don't have any defense towers in this deck. Now, that's pretty controversial, but I believe that this deck is pretty good without a defense card. You'd think you'd want like a cannon or something to draw all of the hogs in, but really this deck does not spawn almost any hogs. Every troop is just a singular troop, so therefore if it does die, there will only be one hog to deal with, and I just have another hog for a win condition. So this witch actually ends up being very, very bad for him because it just keeps on spawning and spawning these hogs, keeping the witch inside of the poison, poisoning the tower, and getting massive, massive damage. Unfortunately, that last group of skeletons did not get poisoned, but now I had to deal with a witch and a Mega Knight. So I logged the witch, it kills all the skeletons and the witch, spawning another hog army on that tower, and the mini P.E.K.K.A is the best tank killer for this game. I feel like every deck is pretty much going to need a mini P.E.K.K.A because you need a tank killer that isn't a skeleton army or bats or maybe even a minion horde, because those will all be detrimental to you once they die and turn into hogs. Now here he had an Archer Queen, so I placed a Mega Knight. I like having a high HP units because they're much harder to kill, and obviously once a troop dies, again, sound like a broken record, but it will turn into Mother Witch troops. So here we go again. I have a E-Wizard that is blowing up the balloon, the minions, and the Archer Queen died, so now I have a pretty much another Hog Rider army coming at him with a Mega Knight on one tower. The Hog Rider is going in on the other tower. He just doesn't have enough elixir to defend it. He places a bandit, but that is just simply not enough for that tower, and the tower is in shambles. I took out one with my Mega Knight and the Hog Rider army, and the other tower is down to 500 HP. I do have a mini P.E.K.K.A, which luckily takes out the Firecracker first, then takes out his entire giant skeleton, and my Mega Knight is going to be able to absolutely slam his Mega Knight. So now we have another mini P.E.K.K.A hog army going at his tower. Unfortunately, it does not connect, but that is no problem because he has to spend all of his elixir pretty much defending this Mega Knight and flying machine, which for some reason he does not do. He tries to go at my tower with a balloon for overtime win, but he just cannot do it. The deck is too good defensively. The mini P.E.K.K.A is going at ham. We've got the Hog Rider in the other tower. We're 3 crowning. We're 1 crowning. We got the 3 crown. So that was absolutely beautiful because he was not able to defend. He tried to get my tower, and it was just not worth it for him. So that was the first victory. That was very, very overpowered. You could definitely see how the hogs and that poison spell specifically helped me out. You got to use these hogs to your advantage. Let's go on to the next battle. Now, this guy, just like everyone else in Clash Royale currently, is running the Firecracker. She is a very, very, very good card right now. And honestly, every single deck that I face has the Firecracker in it. So I think the poison counters it very well because you can get insane tower damage. And you can see right there, I was able to poison the Firecracker and get the hog directly spawned on top of the tower, doing insane damage already in the match. Now, not much happened for about another minute in this match. It was a pretty slow game. I did chip down his tower a lot with just a Hog Rider. He misplaced an Elixir Pump, and I got quite a bit of damage. But here we go with the Golden Knight. A lot of people like to use heroes in this deck, and they just, unfortunately, do not know how to use hero abilities. He just wasted 2 Elixir on a Golden Knight ability, and now I just had an insane counter push with the Mega Knight and the Flying Machine. Honestly, there was just nothing he could do at this point. The Mega Knight was locked onto his tower. The Flying Machine was sitting there doing tons and tons of damage behind the Mega Knight. He did have to arrows it and spawn a hog, but as you can see, even with my entire push dying, he was only able to spawn 3 Hog Riders. So that's why I think this deck is very, very good, because it spawns such a low amount of hogs, and no matter what, pretty much it takes the hogs out of the equation for the opponent, and they can't really use them to their advantage. Now here, he does have a elixir pump that I misplaced a poison on, but that was fine because I really just needed that tower damage from the poison to take him out. He does use the Golden Knight ability, dashes onto my tower, but it just was not worth it for him. My Mega Knight was jumping right on it. The Mini P.E.K.K.A. was able to destroy it. Now, this is where the Firecracker can be a bit annoying because I don't have the poison in cycle, and unfortunately, my Flying Machine switched targets because she dashed backwards. So now he has 2 Firecrackers coming at my Mega Knight and a Valkyrie tanking for him. But I do have the log, which spawns a Hog Rider from the Firecracker, excuse me, and was able to take out the tower. That's why you need to use the hog for the advantage, and I think the poison is huge for killing troops on top of the tower that can do hundreds of damage throughout the game, and that's how we won that second match. Moving on to the third match here, I start out with a Hog Rider on top of his tower. He just counters with a princess in the back, but again, the poison that does a lot of damage to the tower. Plus, if I'm able to kill this princess right next to the tower, the hog will spawn and immediately spawn a hog. Look at that, runs right to the tower and is able to do 3 hits of damage. Now, the Goblin Barrel is not my favorite card. This guy did use it, which honestly just I don't think works at all. He also had the Goblin Gang, which as you can see in this deck just spawns a massive amount of these hogs that are just charging at his tower. He does have the princess and the log, which were able to take out most of those hogs, but not before I was able to take out half of his tower's HP. So log bait is just not it for this game. There is way too much going on. I'm just able to kill so many small units. Look at that right here. The Mega Knight was able to kill, and now I have 3 hogs with a Mega Knight charging at his tower. Even with an Inferno tower in the deck, it just doesn't work because all of the hogs are able to overwhelm him. Now he does do a little sneaky Knight Goblin Gang, so I wasn't able to capitalize on all those hogs with the Mega Knight tanking, but with him running backwards here, I do place the Electro Wizard and have another Hog army charging at his tower immediately. The Goblin Gang and the Skeleton Army, stuff like that, just doesn't work. He keeps trying to use the Goblin Barrel, and honestly, it just has no chance of doing anything. Another Princess is killed right next to the tower, doing another 2 hits of Hog Rider damage with the Poison spell slowly chipping the tower away. Both towers are super, super low, and here we go. I just have the log, able to spawn 3 hogs charging right at his tower. So he pretty much just gave me those hogs for free without getting any damage on my tower. It's like having a really bad elixir golem pretty much. So obviously I get more and more damage on that tower. One's at 130, one's at 672. It just is not fair at this point. He has no chance with log bait. It is just the worst deck for this match. He does try to start rocket cycling my tower, but using all of that elixir on the rockets just is not worth it. My Mega Knight turns around here, turns his entire Goblin Gang into more hogs. I have the Mini P.E.K.K.A. on the other side, just absolutely railing his other tower, and at this point he just gives up. He knows he has 0 chance. I spawn another Poison Electro Wizard and take out the 3rd guy with ease. So I hope you guys like this deck with the Hog Mania challenge. I love you. Stay tuned, and remember, subscribe.